We say welcome to all the viewers. I'm sitting here in Prague with the Fujifilm team. We have, as a journalist, we have had a lot of impressions today. There's a new camera release, and we will talk about the new Fujifilm GFX 100 RF soon. But first, I'd like to introduce, we have the product planner, Makoto Oishi. So nice to be here, and very much thank you for having this interview with me.
Thank you all.
We also have Jonas Rask. You're like an ex-photographer, because you've been shooting with the X cameras as like an ambassador for a long time, and you have also been involved in the process for developing this camera, right? Yeah. So I think we will also talk a bit about those things. So, Makoto, what can you tell us about this camera?
What?
Yeah, it's like very compact.
Yeah.
It's a large sensor, and as we can see here, we have the design from like the X100. Yeah. Where did that idea come from?
Idea come from like so these 2 years we already launched the GFX 102 as a flagship model, and also GFX 100 S2. It's more like standard. So these two combinations almost completed as a lineup for current GFX users, right? But at the beginning of the the concept, we had so many discussions what we should go next, and we want to the GFX users were more wider, right? So at some time, so we still have a missing point, especially for the street photography or documentary or something like that. So we used to have a 50R, but it's a little bit different, right? So if we can make more smaller and lighter weight GFX, even fixed lens, so that is like a future possibility for us at that time.
Yeah, and was that like the impressions you had from your photographers saying like, okay, we want this, but in a smaller format, or that's the users who said that also?
Yes, even at the beginning of the GFX system. So because Fujifilm has a long history of the medium format film cameras, right? That is one request. So in the future, so someone to use like a fixed lens camera as a video GFX.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like Jonas. Yeah. And you, Jonas, you have, of course, you have used the camera.
Yeah.
When did you first get your hands on it?
Well, that was in November last year.
November. Yeah. Okay.
So I went here to Prague to get it hand delivered. We had a startup meeting. So for the project to launch during winter. So there were four photographers that was involved in it. So it's been super fun.
Yeah, I figure. Yeah. Is this like your type of camera?
Well, if I go back to, I don't know if I can say, when I go back to that meeting many years ago in Stockholm, where we had a photographer meeting, where Makoto was there and a lot of the Nordic ex-photographers were there. I just remember I raised my hand and going like, well, what about a medium format X100? I remember Makoto saying, interesting.
So that was.
I didn't hear anything of it.
Oh, okay. So that was
until August last year when I had a meeting with Carl and Ludwig, and they told me about that it was coming and that I was being picked to do a project with it.
Okay.
So I wrote a mail to Makoto. I said, "Hey, you finally did it." And he was like, "Yeah, sorry, I couldn't tell you, but you understand."
Yeah, okay. So interesting. That actually came up like in Sweden from the beginning when you raised the question.
That's when I started thinking about it first. But yeah, it's been a long time, right? A lot of months.
So Makoto, when you heard this idea from Jonas, what happened in your mind? Was it like, oh, this is going to be crazy to do, or is like, this is a fantastic idea, or is it like hard to make, or what were the initial thoughts you had from this idea?
At the timing, yeah. So we didn't have any, we didn't complete it about the GFX system yet, including the lens development and the camera for the yeah. So yeah, I was really interested in that kind of cameras, but it was not reality. Yeah, at that time.
It's like too much to handle in a way. Yeah.
So, but this time, it's a really good time to develop this camera because we already have two types of cameras already.
Yeah.
And we need something new. So that's the beginning of our channel.
Yeah. Okay. So if we look at the cameras, we can also see like the design. They have similarities from this like compact X100. Was that the thought from the beginning, like making a compact version of with the sensor in a compact format? Looking at the X100, was that like the design idea from the beginning?
At the beginning, so at first we have to decide specifications about the lens and the internal devices.
Yeah.
Right? And we check the size. And yeah, we had we made so many effort to make it smaller, as much as possible. And after that, so we started discuss about the design because we already imaged like a price point.
Okay.
So we had a big meeting with the designer, runners, and the engineers. So how should we do about the compact camera at that price?
Yeah.
Right. So of course, as a result, this design is close to X100 maybe, but the beginning is totally fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just fine.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And also, as you mentioned in the presentation, there are some ways you have also thought about the lens construction to get it really, really close to the sensor. How can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, and because of pixel lens, this camera don't have to have focal friction.
Yeah.
Right? So we can make the backside lens closer to the sensor, and we need more really big sensor because the light wave should reach to the corner of the sensor. Right? So yeah, that is a big.
Which way you can like the distance minimal and also making it more compact. Okay, so Jonas, how do you feel about, since you have also shot with the rest of the GFX system, when you can't change the lens, do you think it's like, wow, this is actually giving me some interesting thoughts about how to make the shots because you're restricted, which can develop a sense of, okay, I have to think another round when I take the pictures, or is it like a burden to have? Not changing?
It's one of the things that I always liked about the X100 as well, is that you're limited to that fixed length.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, there are situations where you want a little bit more, but now with the 100 RF, it's possible. It's totally possible because of the megapixel count. So it's basically like having 3 or 4 lenses in one.
Yeah.
As like you can crop and you can do many different things. So in a big sense, it's much more versatile than the X100. And I don't think that I actually really need that versatility. But when you're out there in the field, especially for the type of photography that I do, I really like versatility.
Oh yeah.
So the cropping power is something that is really, really good.
Okay.
It's always been in the GFX cameras, obviously. And I think when looking back, the first time I had the GF 30mm lens on the GFX 100, I remember this one time I took an image, like it was a big sort of like a situation image, but I could crop and zoom in to the person in the center of the frame. And already back then I thought, okay, this is interesting because this is something you can do, you can actively use it. The problem was it wasn't implemented. I had to do it at home. When I got home at the computer, right? So that's what's changed for this, is that now it's totally readily available, so you can just do it whenever. It's super
nice. So Makoto, was that like the idea from the beginning to have a 28mm equivalent to the 35mm, a little bit more wide than 35?
Yeah, because when we consider about the specifications, so we have to care about if we don't have the iris inside, so we care about the focal length, right? So 35 is a wide angle. It could be like a less broad and shape.
Yeah.
Right. The longer focal length, right? So that's one of the reason. And also, as Jonas said, I already know about that. So many GFX users sometimes use cropping.
Yeah.
Right. So wide angle can cover many lenses. So if we choose standard focal length, we can make it wider.
Yeah.
So that is and I like 28 actually. So that is why we choose 35.
Yeah, interesting. Also about this camera, since we have this control where you can also change how the format is on the picture. Where did that idea come from? I guess it's from like the analog era or something.
Yes. So as Jonas talked in the exam, so Fujifilm has a so long years history of the medium format film cameras, and that camera has so many various formats.
Yeah.
Right. 1:1, 2:2, 6:17 or something like that. And originally GFX already have 7 types of format already. And I wrote. So what's the missing format? Oh, it's a 3:4 and 6:17.
Okay, yeah.
And totally 9. Okay, but it's a 9. It's quite tough to choose from the 9 in the menu or something.
Yeah. It takes time, right?
Yeah. So at that time, someone say, if we can make it dial, it's easier, right? So that's the origin of the idea.
Yeah, interesting. I used it myself today since I had a chance to go and take some pictures here in Prague. Jonas, you have used it much longer. Do you use it, the dial? All the time? Yeah.
I actually found that, obviously, I love that I can now, because like the TX1, the expand crop, has been in the GFX cameras since the beginning. And I've always enjoyed shooting like that. And with this focal length, it's actually this exact same field of view to when I'm actually using the TX1.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
So I mostly have it set to that mode, but I find myself switching a lot to the 3:4 mode because it's like I shoot more and more in vertical, and it's super simple. Because then sometimes the problem is with these flip screens that doesn't tilt two-way is that when you shoot low at an angle, when you have to shoot horizontal, you cannot do like this and flip it out, right? So but when you have it in 3:4 mode, you just flip it out, you still have it, so you can actually do vertical shots handheld like this. So it's such a nice feature to have, and I didn't think I would use it as much as I've actually been using it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's mainly those two, but And then a funny thing happens when you use the camera a lot is that you learn how to count the clicks. So
okay, so then you know which aspect you're coming. Yeah.
The tactility of it is just like going, okay, I know that from 4:3 to the TX1 crop to the 64 by 65 by 24, it's like 3 clicks.
Yeah.
And so the tactility of using that's impossible in the menu. And it makes it very, very fast to do when you need to switch in a fast situation. Because in a menu, I would have to, still with my eye, I would have to pull up a menu and in front of the scene. But here I can just do whatever with my hand, and it makes total sense if you want to do it like this. And the placement of the dial is really good because you can still reach it when you have it to the
yeah, it's a nice feature. What was actually the hardest thing to develop if you look through the development cycle? I mean, I guess there's some mountains to climb on the way. Which one would be the worst with this camera's development process, if any? I don't know.
Good question. But yeah, it's design.
Okay.
It's quite tough.
Like making it everything.
Yeah, because this is a brand new camera, right? So and not system camera, not interchangeable, and fixed lens. So yeah, we spent long time to design it, even including the accessories.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we designed whole set, including lens cap and this lens hood, the adapter, and even the protector inside, right? So this is the complete design. Yeah, that is why we put the accessory inside the box.
Yeah, of course. So I guess there's a lot of ideas when you start from scratch thinking about how to do it. I think, or I believe there's a lot of ideas that you wanted to do but you couldn't do. And maybe we can see some of them in the future firmware, I don't know, or future updates. What do you think is like, how to say, from a user's perspective, what do you think would be interesting for them to see in this camera when they have it for the first time? What do you think they will explore? Is it like the compactness, or is it the dials, or the design?
It's a weight. So if someone catches camera, that's actually right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the weight. Picking it up, it's not only light; it's the perfect weight. It feels very solid. It feels like it's very well made. It's not like hollow, or it feels right. It's not front heavy. It's not like I would say definitely the weight and the feel of it is just feels right.
Yeah. I think that also is a thing with the camera. Everything to have it with. Okay. I have lots of questions though, but I think we have spoken some about it, and I will also continue to explore and see how the camera works and everything. And from today I'll learn a lot of how it works, and it's pretty similar. If you have used the X100 series, you know like pretty much everything about the camera. So
actually, sometimes when I go use this, I really sometimes forget that I'm using an X100 because it feels so similar. The same loop shutter with the same, it feels very much alike.
Yeah.
But with the difference of you just have like tons more options here, right? Because of the technology with the big sensor.
Yeah.
But it feels very similar to the X100. It's almost the same.
Okay. One last question though. This camera has, as any of the other cameras, also the film simulations, of course. Which one is your favorite, Jonas?
Well,
for this camera?
It's actually, I found this winter I've been using Nostalgic Neck a lot.
Because
for the places that I was traveling with the camera, like a bit southern, the I used nostalgic neg and then I put it into one of the fluorescent white balances because there's the number 2. It has a little bit of magenta in it, so it puts a little bit of magenta into the very yellow nostalgic neg, so it kind of evens it out. And if you go traveling down south, it's perfect blue skies and very nice warm golden colors. It looks really, really good. So I've been using that a lot.
Okay. Makoto, your favorite?
I really like Realize.
Yeah.
So 2 years before, it's the first time to implement Realize for GFX 102. Even at the timing. So I really love the negative standard, and because I can use it any kind of field.
Yeah.
It's a really good canvas.
Yeah.
Color.
Yeah. You can use it all the time in a way. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Okay. So nice to talk to you. I could sit there and talk forever, and I guess I hope the viewers also liked what we talked about. If you have any questions, just mail them to me, and I'll do my best to see if I can get an answer. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.